Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about one of the strongest carries of the current patch. We're going to be talking about Lone Druid, specifically following the Lone Druid of Pure. Now, what is so special about Lone Druid? It mainly comes down to the facet bear necessities. It gives Lone Druid's main hero only 3 item slots. The bear still has all 6, but it gives the main hero only 3 item slots. However, all of these item slots are 50% more efficient, and when you max out your ulti, all the way up to 80% more efficient, and we're talking about everything. On top of that, go sign up to the gameleap website, guys. I'm posting new content over there almost every day, and I'll see you there. Alright, so let's get into the laning stage and talk about why Lone Druid is one of the best laners in the game. Now, I actually think this hero is a much better safe laner than off laner, primarily because you can actually auto-attack the enemy. Lone Druid at level 1 has a very strong auto-attack because these stats are insane. You can see 29 strength, this hero has 750 health, 29 agi, and most importantly, you have a bear. Right? You have a damn bear. And so, as you can see here, he's hitting for what? 92? Okay, 91. And so, yeah, the majority of heroes you can kind of just bully out. And you can see the Underlord has to completely run away. And this is kind of going to be the main theme of the lane until he starts getting ganked by Monkey King, which is pretty funny. But, yeah, every single time the Underlord goes for a last hit, he can look to punish. Gets the deny, pulls aggro onto the range. Should be a free range deny here. Yep, easy peasy. And that's because you're hitting for 91 damage. And when you level up, right, it's insane. As you begin to level up on this hero, your damage output is ridiculous. He's hitting for 100 at this point. And so most heroes cannot trade with you. At level 2, you get Spirit Link, and now you have 20 bonus attack speed and shared lifesteal. You only actually, your hero doesn't heal the bear, but the bear does heal you. And so you have to be a little bit aware. In the laning stage, guys, make sure you're resummoning the bear. I would even recommend resummoning it when it's around a 3rd HP. Don't let it get super low. If you feed it away, it's 300 gold and a ton of XP. It's basically like giving away a solo kill. Now we'll kind of see that here. He's trading with Amar, laying in the auto attacks. You can see his hero is pretty healthy, even after tanking Firestorm. And that's because the bear's healing him. But as the bear gets to a 4th HP, he resummons and he's ready to go. Now, in terms of items, if you want to really dominate the lane, you should buy 2 bracers. Right? You'll see here that he actually ends up buying none. He had one queued up at the start, but I think as he felt that the lane would be easy, he decided to change his mind and go for a Gloves of Haste. The reason why this item is really good is it gives 30 attack speed, right? So you hit like a truck. However, Bracer also gives you 50% more Bracer stats, so you're obscenely tanky. You can have 1200 HP at minute 4, minute 3 with 2 bracers, right? And so you can basically become invincible because you also get more HP regen out of the bracers. And so yeah, I'm personally a fan of going the double bracer route. I think it makes you unkillable, ungankable, and unlaneable. He ends up going the greedy route, which this is better for scaling. It's better for hitting a later timing. Why? It's going to turn into treads, and then you're going to want to rush your Melstrom. If you buy bracers, they delay these items, right? They delay the overall fight farming timing, which is treads into Melstrom. So yeah, you have these 2 options. If you feel like the lane is super, super easy, you can go what he's going here, which is immediate treads. If it's a little bit harder, or you want to fight to the death, or you're afraid of getting ganked, then you should be going double bracer. And I think if he was to play this game again, he would have highly benefited from going the double bracer in hindsight, because a gank like this, where he would have 2 bracers, absolutely at this point would have 2 bracers. It's way cheaper than Gloves of Haste treads, right? It's only about 600 and something gold. These first 2 tread components are 900 gold. And he ends up going down here in a moment. And I mean, this just wouldn't have happened. The reality is it wouldn't have even been close. He would be regening way faster. He would still have about 500 health here. I mean, now 700. He'd probably have about 700-ish health at this point. And so yeah, he would be okay. So that, just keep that in mind, guys. In terms of skill build, you do not want to take Savage Roar. If the lane is really easy, you should skill Spirit Link because it's the highest pressure ability. But if the lane is a bit harder and they're pressuring the bear, then skill the bear. It gives it 2 armor and a lot of HP, as well as HP regen. So it makes it where they can't actually kill your bear. And so yeah, easy lane, W, harder lane, or lane where they're pressuring the bear, skill the bear. Now, typically at this point, guys, if the game is normal, like it's your typical pub, you're just going to lane and you're going to right-click the offlaner literally off cooldown. I mean, you just can. You have so much attack speed because the treads are 50% better due to bear necessities and your circlets, which I don't know why he only has 1 here. I think it's because he was swapping items in and out. But yeah, at this point, most heroes cannot lane you at all, and you're just going to beat them up. Now, at this point, you want to farm a neutral item as soon as possible. And I mean this, guys. If you farm a slow neutral item, if I watch you play Lone Druid, and you get your neutral item at minute 10, you're ruining the game. And I'm not kidding. I say that for two reasons. Number one, because Lone Druid's innate allows him to reroll the neutral token. So if you don't get anything you like, you can reroll and you'll probably get something you like. And you and your bear get the neutral item. So when you get Spark of Courage, instead of getting 16 damage, you're getting 32. Neutral items are criminally broken on Lone Druid. Now, the only thing you should keep in mind is active items. You cannot use them twice. And so I took Iron Talon yesterday, hoping I could flash farm. It doesn't work. So I'd recommend taking any of the damage or stat items at all of the tiers, right? Typically like tier 2, that's going to be Specialist Array, Pupil's Gift, things like that. At tier 1, it's going to be Duelist Gloves, maybe Seeds of Serenity if you want to be hyper tanky and avoid ganks, that's fine. That's definitely an okay option as it still heals you and your bear. But yeah, generally it's going to be Seeds of Serenity just to be hyper tanky, or one of the 2 damage items, Duelist Gloves or Spark of Courage. So at this point of the game, he's maxing his bear, which I really don't like. I'm pretty certain it's much lower DPS than skilling Spiritling. So I would personally just leave bear at 2. I like going 2-2-1 if the game is difficult. If the game is really easy, I will go 2-4-0. Like, I'll just max the W. Most people max the bear. Personally, I think it's wrong. I think the attack speed from Spirit Link is like very valuable. And he even ends up going back for the Spirit Link at level 7. So kind of a weird skill build, but it's fine. Now from here on out, guys, this hero is like reasonably easy. You can just flash farm jungle if needed. Or you can continue to look for kills. You're pretty decent at fighting at this point of the game, especially if you go the Bracers route. He's pretty squishy at this point. Like, as I was saying, you can have 1200 HP. You know, obviously he went the greedy route, which is going to pay off now. At minute 12, he'll get his Melstrom, and now you start to hit like crazy. Keep in mind the Melstrom procs are not 50% better. At this point, it's actually 60% better because he skilled up his ult, but the damage and the attack speed are 50% better, or 60% better. So yeah, you farm really fast, like really fast, because all your items are just more efficient. He's hitting for 155 at minute 13 with these items. Right? I mean, that is some crazy, crazy number. By the way, when you're farming neutrals, tank them with the hero, not with the bear. You cannot heal the bear easily, but you can heal the hero easily. So yeah, do not get your bear low, especially if you take Spark of Courage. You don't want 7 armor, you want 16 damage. And yeah, just flash farm the Ancients. That's it, guys. Don't do anything else. If you go diffusal, the only other avenue for playing this hero, in my opinion, is rushing diffusal. And you can fight off cooldown if you rush diffusal. It's pretty good, definitely an option, right? So you go 1 bracer, treads diffusal, and you're really good at fighting in the early game. That is the build if you want to skirmish. But if you go Maelstrom, it's just into the jungle, AFK farming, hitting neutrals, rinse, repeat over and over again, and you're going to be top net worth very quickly. You'll see here, the only reason why the Underlord is super high net is because he's 5-2 with extremely good CS, and that's because the Monkey King ganked his lane twice, the Bristle ganked the lane, the Hoodwink camped him, you know, it was just like, he got set up for a free game. Next up, he ends up buying his Shard, which I love, and I think it's an awesome adaptation from Pure here for 2 reasons. If you don't know what the Shard on Lone Druid does, it gives you 15% movement speed and 40 attack speed on both you and the bear for 5 seconds. But most importantly, this game, it dispels him. What does it dispel? Well, it's a support Bristleback, but even if it was core, goo, and very importantly this game, Breathe Fire, which is 30% damage reduction. Very problematic for Lone Druid, actually, right? Considering he's very much a base damage hero. As you can see, 168 base damage, and the bear 122 base damage, no added damage, because he has Pupil's Gift at this point, right? And so yeah, the Dispel is wonderful in a lot of games. You know, there's a huge variety of matchups where it can be really good. It can be a Veno, it could be Spirit Vessel, which is good against this hero. You know, it could be Ignite from Ogre Magi, it can be Bristleback, Viper. You know, there's a ton of matchups where just getting this Dispel early is super broken. And once you have Gleipnir, guys, you should start fighting, right? I would recommend farming as much as humanly possible, not missing a single Ancient rotation. Like, don't miss 1 Ancient rotation, and hit your Gleipnir timing at around minute 15, and then start to go crazy, right? Once you have this timing, it's really easy to just start chunking, and you're basically unkillable because at level 12, when you click your ulti, you get, I think it's 10 armor? You get 10 armor and 1,000 health. I don't know why it doesn't say that it gives you the health. I don't know if it's a bug, but it does. It absolutely does. I can tell you, I just played the hero twice. You get the health. Okay, this next minute is really good for just learning a couple of the key concepts of Lone Druid. So he buys Diffusal next, which I would say there's 2 main items you can go here. It's either Diffusal or, well, some games BKB is okay, so maybe 3, right, if you really need BKB. And then the third item is Harpoon. I really like the Harpoon because when you ulti, you turn into a melee hero, so you get the echo hits, and it makes it really easy to stick on top of people and track. It also gives you a nuts HP pool because you're getting like way more out of the strength and HP that Echo Saber naturally gives, so it makes you really, really tanky. That's a great frontline build. It's personally something I really like on the offlane. This Disperser build, it's good this game once again because of the Dispel, right? It's just a game where the Dispels are hyper valuable, and so it makes a lot of sense in this match against the Dragonite, against the Bristleback, right? Another thing you can do is you can drag waves, and I'm a big fan of this, especially if the game is hard and you have no vision of the enemy. Instead of killing a mid wave, you can just kind of run the tower, run the bear behind the tower, drag the wave to yourself into a safe area and farm it there. Or if the game is good, right, in a situation like this, if he really wanted to, he could send the bear up to the next top wave, drag it to himself, and I really would love that play. So I think that's an option here. He ends up just taking the tower, which is fine, but if he knows that they're not going to fight, because your hero is the main right clicker, you don't need your bear to hit, right? You can farm the mid wave with just your hero and drag the wave. And if enemy ends up going on you, it's fine. You can recall your bear. The bear isn't that important with this build. You're naturally tanky. It's way better than ever. Average Lone Druid feels pretty bad about doing this because the main hero is shit alone and the bear has to be able to hit to do things. You don't need that with this build, so dragging with the bear is really OP. All right, let's get into the first major team fight of the game. And this one is like, it just shows the resilience of Lone Druid. He clicks ulti, level 18, so his items are 80% better. You can see 4k HP, 50 armor. The bear just has some circlets, so nothing crazy here. You got the Fine Shell as well, which is a wonderful item. And yeah, Wukong comes out, like a lot of shit going on. The bear dies, which is kind of normal with this build. The bear is very squishy, doesn't really have stats. But he's going to beat up on the Bristleback support, takes him out, kind of taking a lot of damage. But he's like standing in a Wukong, standing in a bunch of random spells. And yeah, I mean, he's able to just frontline beautifully. Kind of gives an opening for the Viper, uses Disperser to get on top of the Underlord, and nearly kills him. I don't know if he was late on the fear. I think he might have been. By the way, in terms of talents, you take health at 10, and you take Savage Roar cooldown at level 16 after you've maxed out the Savage Roar. For his next item, he ends up buying Butterfly. Once again, I think Harpoon is a great option, because really, or BKB, I think these are probably the two safest. This Butterfly, I mean, it makes sense. He's against Monkey King and Dragonite, so he's against two heavy right-click cores. But I will admit, I think one of the major issues as the game progresses is just this hero getting kited, which is why you buy Gleipnir and it's why you buy Disperser. You don't want to get kited. You're just a hard right-click hero with really no true gap close ability. It's not like the root is reliable. And so buying Harpoon as your third item instead of boots is really good. And you can just have 3 gap close items. It will feel nice. The Butterfly, I get it. It's higher DPS. It's going to give him an insane amount of attack speed. It is good. You benefit from the Agi a lot, especially considering you're universal, so it does work on your hero. Either one's fine. BKB is fine as well if you truly need it. You already hit hard. The main 2 things you need is this. The third item should just be basically adjusting to what the enemy team has. BKB for magic and control, Harpoon if you're really getting kited, Butterfly if you're dying to physical damage. This next fight is really where Pure carries the game. A 9k lead, but most importantly his Viper's dead, so they're taking a 4-on-5 in the Roche pit here. Drops the ulti preemptively, doesn't want to get caught off guard without that armor and without that HP, roars the Underlord, and what's interesting about Savage Roar as an ability is it fears them back to the base. Certain fears in the game, like Ringmaster's fear, fears them away from the Ringmaster. But this one fears people to the base. So if you happen to be flanking, right, in a situation like this, the Roar will push them into you, which is best case scenario. And he starts doing a lot of damage to the Underlord. You're not going to burst anyone. It's not a burst damage carry. It's a chip them down and slowly win the fight carry. I mean, I say that, but he kind of did like destroy the Underlord there. And then, evaporates the Dragonite and they win the fight. And that was just a huge turning moment. Next item, Vlad's, which I love. Right, you're going to put it on the bear. It's going to give you 18% bonus damage on 275, which is awesome. It gives the bear bonus damage, which the bear is all base damage. So Vlad's perfect item. It also gives you that lifesteal that the hero does lack because, yeah, I mean, the bear at this point of the game isn't healing you really much because it has no items, right? It's just a Vlad's. I mean, it has treads, I guess, because he slotted out the treads on his main hero for the Butterfly. But oh, he even slotted out, yeah, I remember this. To take Aegis, he slotted out the Gleipnir. So now the bear's like, okay. I will admit, I think taking Aegis on this hero is kind of bad. And generally, if you have another hero that's good, like a Puck or a Storm, or even Viper this game, I think could have taken it. Like, I would have loved to see them just give it to the Viper, let the Viper farm a shard, and then he sieges with that. I think it would have been 10 times better. because they try to go high ground here and you evaporate buildings. And I didn't even realize, but yeah, you actually deal bonus damage to buildings too. So like this hero does insta-kill buildings, and maybe that's the reason they give it Magus. It is actually even better than I imagined, but you kind of have to get close. I will admit, this is where Hurricane Pike can be a good option on this hero. It's another item that kind of helps you close the gap if needed, or Kite. A lot of people will buy Pike on Lone Druid Core because using the ulti, some people don't like it. It forces you to be melee, and that can be a little bit awkward. Obviously, it gives incredible stats as, oh my gosh, look at him man up here. He just actually won the man fight against the Dragonite. Controls up the Bristleback. Monkey King has to hop away. Gleipnir onto the Hoodwink, and you'd think like, oh, he's isolated, he's in a bad spot. He should swap back his Gleipnir onto his main hero here. He kind of forgot, that's fine. So if you're having a hard time sieging, the main two items you should buy is either Pike, so you can hit from far away, or you should buy BKB, so you can click BKB in melee form and just hit for, 6 to 9 seconds. Honestly, optimally 9 seconds. If you buy late BKB, you can just use it to siege, and you can swap it out and then swap back in your third item. You know what I mean? BKB as a fourth item, as a sieging item, is wonderful. Like, buy Vlad's on the Bear, because it's like way too good, and then as your fifth item, technically, buy a BKB, right? As you can see here, that's what he does, and I love this. You'll see it really is good for using the melee form and the demolish that you get on the melee form. Skip ahead here quick, farms up some ancients, gets this level 25, which he takes the true form cooldown, makes sense. Spirit Link attack speed is no joke. It is really good. Definitely an option, but he has so much agi here and like an attack speed neutral item that he really doesn't need it. So the true form cooldown makes sense. It makes it have a 10-second cooldown. And yeah, eventually he'll figure out to swap the BKB. And he tries to siege initially, but quickly realizes that, hey, that's not going to work. Like, there's no way you're getting through this. So eventually he'll chat up. And yeah, you'll see. Dispels the Underlord route. And he's going to pop the BKB and just go to town on these racks. Doesn't commit for the range, which I like. You can kind of just wait for the BKB to come back up and go from there. His team ends up taking a major team fight while he disengaged, which was like really insane and kind of odd, but they end up winning it. So I don't know how they were that strong without their carry. That was pretty crazy. Look at oh my god, he's just eating the Underlord. Does this guy have Crimson? Oh, that is crazy. He destroyed him. Oh my gosh. Look at him. Oh my, dude, I don't know. This hero's like so goofy. To be fair, with no Vlads near you, you actually don't heal at all. You really need the Vlads on the Bear behind you. It makes a huge difference, like huge difference. But alright, that's going to be all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. This hero is really OP, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website, where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace!